Hey there guys, it's Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. And this is a follow-up to my previous one. If you haven't already seen that, I'll link it in the comment section and the description, which is where I tested all the tier system pets and the non-tier system pets. This one we're looking at Henchmen. The sidekicks I didn't bother testing again. I mean, no one uses a sidekick for damage anyway, but if you want, that's where the rankings are. It's just based on the weapon attacks. There's no extra things to them at all. For the Henchmen, what you're looking at here accounts for 27 hours of testing. There's 53 henchmen. You have to do 6 tests, 3 for a single target, 3 for AoE, because you just need a larger sample size. That's 318 tests, and that's with Dead King equipped. The henchmen have a cooldown of 310 seconds, which works out to 98,000 seconds or so, and then so just over 27 hours. Technically, you could log out and log back into the game to reset the internal cooldown on henchmen, but then I'm pretty sure that would end up flagging my account for something for logging in 300 times, and I would be the most toxic person in the game to anyone that has me on their friends list, logging in and logging out the entire time. So I just did it straight up. A few things to note with henchmen. One, any seasonal henchmen, like say for example the nature spirit henchmen during the spring seasonal, they all have a 10% damage increase anywhere in content. So they say the winter is going to be the lantern, stuff like that. So that's the thing, one to be aware of, is that not that they're necessarily the best, which you'll see, but any seasonal henchmen always have a 10% increase in content. The second one is there's going to be always wild fluctuations in the parsers, just how henchmen work and how the AI works. Sometimes they don't do their attacks, sometimes they do. Like the rifle henchmen, which are usually typically the best, sometimes they don't do flamethrower, sometimes they don't do mortar. It's kind of hit or miss. And henchmen themselves are pretty much broken up into like 3 categories. You've got the, like original henchmen. These basically just do weapon attacks. There's no kind of special attacks to them or any kind of powers to them. It's just straight up weapon attacks, and then their damage is pretty much determined by what weapon they use. Like bow and dual pistols and stuff are going to be bad. Then you've got all the layer henchmen, the kind of mid tier, and then you've got the newer henchmen, which also have power attacks built in. So without further ado, let's get into the AoE rankings here. And once again, these are going to be posted on my Discord. You're going to find them in the videos here. I'll do a post on the forums as well. I'll add it to the DCUO Census website as well. So you can find these results anywhere after the fact. This is also going to be the last time that I'm testing henchmen. Once again, like I said in my previous video, Sharon, the developer, has left the game, and he was the one that managed pretty much every single pet. That's why the only henchmen we've had since he left was like the mummies and doctors, which are just awful reskins. So I don't expect us to really get any more henchmen in the future, and if we do, it's just going to be a carbon copy anyway. And as evident before, the reason why I don't like doing henchman testing is the time sink. So without further ado, we have the LexCorp security robot henchmen. These ones are going to be by far like the best, without a question. The reason why is they apply a random defense debuff. Now, there is no visual cue, there's no icon. It had to be tested with Gadget's Fear Gas, just seeing the difference. So it does apply a debuff at some point. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why you can go from a 500k parcel on 5 targets to a 1 mil parcel on 5 targets to like 800k, 900k. That's all over the place, because it doesn't apply the defense debuff each time. So it's with that one, whether or not it stacks or not, it's also a question. Whether or not it applies any other debuffs is another question as well. It's basically just completely random. If it's intended or not, no idea. Not like it's going to get fixed anyway, so pretty much just live with it the way it is. Then we have the water golems, Cersei BC morphs. These ones, because they're sonic shout. Same thing with the trench creatures. These do sonic shout. If they don't do a sonic shout, then it's like a much lower parse. And then we've got the Reapers, Freeze Goons from survival mode, Mayor Lair henchmen. Even with the 10% seasonal buff for the nature spirits, I mean, they're still like top 20. But even with that, even if you subtract that 10%, it's still going to be kind of around the mid tier. So really, you're looking at like 5-6 henchmen that are worth it. Obviously, go for Lex Scary supports if you can. These are tied to a feat though, so they're not straightforward to get. Water golems come for the anniversary event, so they're the same thing. Jumping over single target, nothing too much change in terms of the rankings. We have LexCorp security robots, obviously again much higher, usually consistent, like 700-800Ks than the water golems. So really, if you can't get the LexCorp henchmen, water golems are you can buy them on the broker. They're pretty common. and they're really consistent. That's the thing. LexCorp can differ because if you don't get that debuff, it's going to be much lower, where water golems have been completely consistent across the board for AoE and single target. Freeze Goons is survival mode. Nature Spirit, these technically do a little bit higher because that's a 10% seasonal buff, which will drop and then make it, around the same as everything else. So that's it. I don't need to spend 10 minutes on this video kind of breaking everything down. Once again, these documents are going to be listed everywhere in terms of the rankings, but ideally you should be looking at the water golems from the broker or picking up those security robots, because obviously the damage potential with these are through the roof compared to everything else because of that defense debuff. So any other questions or concerns, put them in the comment section. I'm glad I could spend 27 hours of my time to bring you a 6-minute video. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the next one.